activation records. So activation record is nothing but function calling. Okay, so I am writing a simple program here which is of factorial by using recursion. You all have done that program of factorial. I just want to explain you why some different approach. Okay, so we have a main function, and inside the main, let's say we have integer x, and x is calling a function, let's say fact of 4. For simplicity, I am just taking a smaller number 4. And in the next line, let's say I am printing x. Now don't tell me there are some syntax errors. I am not considering any error because I am writing the pseudocode here. Sorry. Okay. Now in the factorial function, what we have is integer fact, integer n, and then let's say we have base case. So in recursion we have two things, only and only two things. One is base cases, which is a terminating condition, and another one is which is a repeating condition, that is repeating again and again and again. So in factorial what you are doing is you are either incrementing the value. Let's say if you want to calculate the factorial of 4, what you do is 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. So either you are incrementing from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, or in the reverse order what we can do is from 4 to 3, 3 to 2, then 2 to 1. Either way you can go. Here the value is given 4, so for me it is much more easier to go in the top down approach from topper value, so higher value to lower value. So that's why what we do is, and the base case is what we have is, so in base case we have to write where we have to stop. So we are starting from 1 always, we are not including 0, we are not including -1. Okay, so we are stopping at 1. So that's why if value of n is 1 and or the value of n is 0, then the factorial is 1. So factorial of 0 is also 1. So return 1. So this is my base case. And if this condition is not satisfied, what I am doing is, let's say integer x is equal to n and integer y is equal to, let's say, fact of n minus 1, and I am returning a value x multiply y. This is what I have written. This is not very usual code. So generally, instead of these 3 lines, we can write like this also: return n into fact of n minus 1. This is what you have studied. But I have written these 3 lines for a purpose. I'll tell you the purpose now. So now, what happens in the backend? So compiler do not have these many instructions only. If you have seen very carefully while compilation, it also tells how many lines it has compiled. It has not, even if you have written, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 lines of code, but then also it will compile more than 700 lines of code, because it have something called logic which you have written, and except the logic it also have to maintain some extra information. So we have to learn what is this extra information and why compiler needs this extra information. Okay, please pay attention, do not try to mug up things, because if you mug up things, then in future you will not be able to understand various other questions. But if you understand things, it will take some time, but it will be very, very beneficial in later on stage. Okay, so now we have to maintain this extra information, and this extra information is not maintained by us, it is maintained by our operating system or by our compiler. Okay, so what is this extra information? I'll tell you in very short in brief. So let's say you have declared integer x, you have just declared it, but where this x is residing, whether it is in register, whether it is in cache, or it is in memory, where it is, that has to be taken care by our compiler, because it has to refer it again and again, because we have to refer it, because we have to evaluate it. So that's why it has to maintain where it is residing. So this is one extra information we have to maintain. When I say we have to maintain, that is compiler has to maintain. Okay. After this, now it is calling factorial 4. In the next line, it is calling factorial 4. So that control has to transfer onto the next function. And after transferring the control, it has to run all the instructions written in that function, and then it has to go back to that same instruction. How the compiler know from where it has to jump at other location, and after running all the instructions from that location, it has to go back to the previous location. How does it maintain? So this is all extra information it has to maintain. So that extra information it maintain is by using activation records. So what it do is, in our computer we have a RAM, and inside the RAM there is a section called stack. So when you call main function, it will make a main function stack. So this is a stack of main function. Main function की stack बन जाएगी. Okay. Now when you go on to the next line, integer x, so it has to declare a variable x inside the main, and now you can understand that local variables have this much scope only. It cannot be accessed outside. Why? Because when it will declare the variable, it will be inside the main function, and the scope of this is within this stack. Outside that stack, nobody can look at it. If you don't know, the local variables, function parameters are also declared inside the stack, whereas global variables are not declared inside the stack. They are declared somewhere called read-write memory. If you know, we have something called dynamic memory, and we declare dynamic memory in heap. Okay, so this is how the memories are declared, and since it is declared inside the stack of main, so only and only it is accessible inside the main. If I try to access outside the main and there is no other variable declared with the same name, it will tell you variable not declared. But if we have the variable of the same name outside that function, then it will access the value of that variable. I have declared x name here for a purpose, because here if I try to access this x, I will have the value of this x, not the main wala x. Okay, now when we go on to the next line, so before executing this equal to part, it has to call this function, and whenever a new function is called, it will create a new stack, that is new activation record is maintained. And now since it was activated right now, the control was here, but now when you have called a function, new function called fact of 4, the new stack is maintained of fact 4, and the activation will be transferred to this stack. So the activated record is, what is record? Record is collection of information, that's all. So we have some information within that stack, that is why it is called record. And which of the function is right now accessible, that is activated, and all others are inactivated. So now main function is becoming inactivated, whereas the function fact of 4 is activated. And now we have to maintain the information, we have to jump back to this information, this line number 2. So let's say the address of this line number 2 is 2D. the addresses are in hexadecimal, so that's why I have written 2D. Okay, so now we have 2D where we have to go back. So there is a register called PC, that is called program counter. So in program counter, not program counter exactly, but there is a special register, not program counter, some, let me write it as register. So we have a special register here which will store the information of the returning address. So it will store 2D here, so that it can remember that after finishing my all instructions in my function, I have to go back to this address, and this address will be stored till the whole function is not finished. After storing all this information, we will go to integer fact, and now integer n. What is this integer n? It is a parameter, and parameters are initialized or declared inside the stack only. So it will create a new variable m having value 4. Why 4? Because this 4 value will be copied inside this n, and now n will be having 4 value. When we go inside the function, we will encounter line number 4. Now n equal to 1. No, it is 4. Now compiler can equate the values very easily because the value is available within that stack. Okay, or the condition of n equal to 0. No, it is not true. So it will jump the next instruction. It will not execute the next instruction. It will jump. It will go to the next line, that is 6th line, and it will declare a new variable called x. So we have a new value x here, and this x is different from the x of main. Although the value will be initialized with 4 because we have n value, and here no value is initialized yet because this fact function has not returned anything yet. So this x will having value 4, and it is different from the main x. After this, when we go to the next instruction, then again this function is called next before initializing the value of y. So we have a new variable declared here y, but it is not, so I am talking about this y. This y is declared, but no value is assigned to it because the function will be called, and when the function will be called, a new stack is formed and activation control is transferred to this function. And now see this. Now we have y, and this is n minus 1. What is n minus 1? The value of n was 4, minus 1 is 3. So this will call fact of 3. And again it will go into inside the function. Whether n is equal to 1 or 0, no. So it will go to line number 6 again. So it will declare x. So x will be made value 3 because now the value of n is 3. Why? So because when we have called this function from here with a fact of n minus 1, the control has been transferred to this, and here the new variable is formed with value 3, n equal to 3. So here the value of n is 3, which is initialized to x. So we have so many x right now, so many n's right now. After that, when we go to the line number 7, it will maintain again calling of fact of n minus 1. And I forgot to tell you, when we have called this function fact of n minus 1, we have to maintain the address where we have to go back. So it will maintain a address here also, here also, because this address was to go here. So it will maintain an address of, let's say, 3D. Now this 3D is not going to be same in every fact of n minus 1. Why? Because the address is this. So what is this address? Let's say this address is 3D. And when we call this fact of n minus 1, what is n minus 1? Because value of n is 3 right now. So n minus 1 will be 2. So the control will be transferred to this, and before that y is made. Now this will be made fact of 2, and n is initialized with 2 because the new n is made. And let's say from where it was called y equal to fact of n minus 1 is 4d. The address of this is 4d. So it will maintain a address to return as 4d. And when we check the values whether they are equal to 1 or 0, no, it is equal to 2. So again what we have is, again it will go and make a new variable x initialized with 2. Then again it will go and make a new variable y, but no value is initialized to y. It will call a new function fact of n minus 1, and fact of n minus 1 is made as what? 1, because 2 minus 1 is 1. So here n is initialized to 1, and the return address from where it was called is, let's say, 5d. So it will maintain a 5d. Okay, now when we go to this new function of fact 1, the value of n is 1, the condition is true. So if the condition is true, then it will not go next. It will return 1 from here. And where it will return? The return 1 will happen to this address, this 5d. The value will be returned to 5d. So 5d is this line, and this line says that y equal to 1. So the value of y is initialized with 1. Then after that it will go to the next line. After 5d, let's say we have line number 5d plus 1 here. So it will go to the next line. So the value of x here is 2, value of y is 1. So multiplication of this is 2. So it will return to which address? It will return the value to 4d. So at 4d we had y. So value of y will become 2, the return value. Then after that line number 4d plus 1 is executed, which is saying x into y. X is what? 3 here. Y is what? 2 here. Multiplication of 3 and 2 is 6. So it will return 6. And 6 will be returned to what address? 3d. So 3d is at y. So 3d will be pointing to y. And y value will become 6. Next to it is x plus x into y. So 3d plus 1 is the next line, having 6 into. So value of y is 6 here and value of x is 4 here. So 6 into 4, and value of 6 into 4 is returned to address of 2d. Here 2d was called at x equal to fact of 4. So value of x will become 6 into 4 is 24. And now after getting this value, x will be initialized with 24, and after that it can print 24 and the control will be over. Whenever we are returning value from this to this to this, all the activation records will be damaged. They will be lost. We will have no image. So when the control is going downwards, we are removing this stack. We are deleting this stack. Okay. When the control is given to this, the stack will be lost. That's why if you wanted to access these variables afterwards, they are no longer available. Okay. So when you go inside the main, all these stacks will be removed. And if you have to go back, then you cannot go back unless you call that function again. When you call that function again, then a new stack will be created, and the function which we are running right now is active, and all the other functions below it are inactive. The function control is transferred from the top function to the bottom function, then the top function will be deleted, and the new function which was at top right now will be getting activated. So these kinds of activation records are maintained. Okay. And the problem with our student is this whole exercise they don't want to do because it is time consuming. And what my suggestion is, it is time consuming for first 2-3 programs. After 3-4 programs, it is not time consuming, it all will become your second nature, it will all come in your brain directly without using pen paper. But if you don't do this exercise initially for 2-3 programs, then you will not learn the concept. See, recursion is very easy, but if you have to practice recursion, first solve few questions, like question of, I am giving you some questions, if you want to learn recursion, do that. I am not going to check anyone's program, let me be very clear. Why? Because I don't have that much time to check each and everyone's copy. Okay, so I am writing 4-5 programs here, you can practice those programs on your own. And how to practice it? The way I have explained you. You have to run with the making activation records one by one. Even if it is taking half an hour, 1 hour, why to worry about it? Because to solve 5 problems, it will take 5 hours. But after 5 hours, you will know what is recursion. You can write the programs by using recursion. And that is more beneficial, except running from them. Okay. So first program you should try is print first n natural numbers, and all the programs must be done using recursion. Okay, using recursion. Although I know you can write program like this, I equal to 1, I less than equal to n, I plus plus, and then print I. So this is also printing first n natural numbers, but this is not what I want you to do, because here no recursion is used. What I want you to do is using recursion. Okay, each and every program I am writing here is to be done by using recursion only. Print first n natural numbers, print numbers between x and y with step of k. What it means is, let's say the value of x is 10, the value of y is 20, and value of k is 2. So you have to start with 10, then 12, then 14, 16, 18 and 20. So step is the difference between the two successive numbers. Okay, if the value of k is 3, then 10, 13 and then 16, then 19, that's all. 20 will not be printed. So in between 10 to 20 you have to print all the numbers with step k by using recursion. Then I am just asking to print. Okay, and remember what problem will arise, I'll tell you. Some students will face this problem. They want to print first n natural numbers, but what they will get to print is, let's say n equal to 5. So our answer should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what they will get is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because the print statement where you have written is wrong. Okay, so this is not we want. We want is this. How to solve it? By using all the methods I have told you here. Similarly, in this case also, some students will get answer in reverse, that is 19, 16, 13, 20, or some students will get 20, then 17, then 14, then 11. This is wrong. This is not what we want. We want is this answer. Okay, so practice this. Then the next question is sum of an array. Let's say an array of size n is given to you. You have to find the sum of the array using recursion. Okay, so let's say the array is 1, 2, 3, 4. The answer should be just 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. So it will become 10. Okay, this is what you have to print. Okay, only and only 10. No, nothing else. Sum of an array. Okay. The next you should try is, again what I have written, the same question, factorial of n. Okay. Then Fibonacci series till n. Now there are various versions of Fibonacci series. So first version is print first n values. This is first version. That means if we have asked you to print 5 values. So what is the answer? 1, 1, 2, 3 and 5. So these are the first 5 values. Okay. The second version is print till n. If n is equal to 8, then you have to print till 8, not 8 values. Whenever the 8 is encountered, stop. If it is 7, then 7 is not coming in the Fibonacci series, then you have to print till 5 only, not 8. Okay? Okay? There are a lot of confusions regarding this, that we have to start the Fibonacci series with 0 or 1. Some researchers use starting with 1 and some researchers starts with 0. You can take either of them. And the another version of this is print the sum till n. Print the sum till n. So that means if n is equal to 5, then 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5. This is the sum of the first 5 numbers we have to print. Okay. So if you can practice all these questions, I believe you will have at least 80% idea about recursion. Okay.